Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Sita Lakshmi from Ojas Aesthetic, Hyderabad. It is situated in Madhapur and it is one of the niche clinics for cosmetic treatments, cosmetic surgeries, skincare. We have been talking about certain types of skincare in men and women and how we proceed, how we analyze the skin, and what all we can do and what all we should not do. In this series, I really want to highlight certain things about men's skincare and why there is an increasing demand for the cosmetic treatments in men. Previously, maybe around 4 to 5 years back, we had very less walk ins from men than women. So, men were hesitant to come for the treatment or they were not interested to come for a treatment. Why do you think there's a recent change in this trend? Now there is a information and the innovation has also increased, and the necessity for men to indulge in a skincare or a cosmetic treatment has increased. Let me elaborate what were the major factors for this. Probably there's more information load. So there is also increasing demand for the cosmetic appearance in the socio-cultural settings. Therefore, men are also aware of their appearance in their either in their work environment or in the social environments. Apart from that, there is also increasing competition in to look good and feel good. Therefore, this competition has rose to the level that they can be identified as a good in their own work or not. So it also builds up a certain amount of confidence. Therefore, skincare and following certain amount of cosmetic care has become an important part of their lives. And there is an increase in the trend, definitely in the beauty care products that they use at home, and also in the walk-ins and the treatments that they urge and they follow. And when we come to men's treatment, why is it different from women's treatment? Do we do the same treatments as women, or are there specific treatments? For this, I should say the answer is yes and no, because most of the treatments in the skin are same for men and women. But of course, they are targeted in a different way. They're tailored according and made custom made for them. The reason is that the skin of men and women is not the same. For example, the morphology itself is not the same. The build of man is different from a build of women. The skin is different from women. Also, there are other physical factors that are very unique for men. That is, their musculature is much heavier, their bone is much heavier than the women. Therefore, it warrants that we have to use certain types of treatments for men and also tailor them or tighter them according to the need. There are many informations that go to men, and men ask for different treatments. But it is for the esthetician or the dermatologist to know which treatment is more applicable and which is first and which is not to be done. So this is the major issue because the anatomical appearances are very high and there are very much increase in the musculature. Therefore, their sebaceous glands and the zinc thickness is also more. Therefore, this results in, you must have noticed that men suffer more acne than women, and men require more amount of treatment than women. Men shy away from the treatments in the earlier ages because of the taboo, also that they have to follow a rigid regime. This is the major issue in men more than the taboo these days. Men do not stick to the regime, nor do not want to follow or do not want to be pressurized to follow a regime. Therefore, there will be more fallouts in men in skincare than in women. They are also sensitive. They are sensitive to pain and also sensitive to the appearance of this of the people. Therefore, they have to be counseled first of all that it's a normal routine. The treatment lasts for a very short time, and that is the time then they have to follow a certain regime of treatment and at home care products. And the very least number of products have to be selected so that their confidence level is boosted up and they will try to follow that least number of products that we prescribe at home. Unlike the cosmetic market outside, there is every day a new product that is seen on bombarding the internet. Do all these are necessary? They are overwhelmed, and this results in a total lack of care. Some people go overboard using everything and becoming victims of certain cosmetic reactions. Some totally shelve themselves and then they say that we don't need anything, it's too much, and we don't understand it. That is the dialogue that we have to form between these two ends, and say that the minimum cosmetic care that is necessary for every individual is same. Probably a skincare routine like moisturizing, a sunscreen, and cleansing. These are the basic needs of any human being, be it women or men. The products may be a little different depending on the skin type. So men have a more sebaceous skin, therefore more exfoliative kind of a products have to be used in the skincare, either at home or in office treatments. And as the anatomical things, even the musculature is different, therefore the muscle as are also very heavily projected. So when they age, that is when they come for anti-aging treatments, not in the younger ages, but in the middle or the lower ages, they are more pronounced. That's the reason why also we see men at a younger age opting for anti-aging treatments than the women. Men, when they are in 30s or 40s, also because of their musculature, because of their skin, as the musculature weakens, the furrows deepen. Therefore, the rhytids, which are seen in women as a normal, smaller lines, become furrows in men. Therefore, it is much more depressive, and they feel much more less confident when it comes to uh, their own appearance. That is the reason why they opt for certain treatments, especially. We'll also elaborate what are the treatments in the coming time. Now, what are the types of treatment we use? Yeah, I don't definitely say that men have to come every week for a treatment. It's not mandatory. The only one treatment that men come and ask often, and that forms 70% of our cosmetic practice, is hair. They are very much more inclined to get good hair. Therefore, hair on the head is more important to them than anything else. We always have this paradoxical situation of having nothing above and more on the body. Therefore, they opt for more of the hair treatments. Men are also more sensitive to pain, and they cannot tolerate very painful treatments, except for the hair treatments. They do tolerate pain when it comes to hair. Therefore, hair treatments are very popular, like the PRP treatments or the hair transplantation or the hair growth factors. Other than that, men shy away from the physical treatments of facial skin. But I would say there is an increase in 50% increase in the people coming and opting for such treatments. When they do opt, we have to carefully select what is necessary for them. The most important types of treatment that we use are the peels, which will decrease the sebaceous secretion in men, which are targeted maybe monthly once, so that they can follow an easy schedule, and then home care treatment to correct these things. But if it is an acne or an acne scars, then the treatment will be prolonged. And as you know, the deeper the scar, the more the treatment is. Therefore, we have to opt for other types of treatments like lasers or subcisions when the scars are very huge. I would also suggest that men have to go in for certain type of acne scar corrections like facial fat or fillers, because they're mostly very deep, and non-surgical treatments may not suffice to control completely. Again, a realistic goal has to be achieved, and men usually do not are more better than women in accepting the results of a cosmetic treatment. They are not very perfectionist. They say if a 20% improvement has come, I'm happy. So we have to also target the goals according to their needs and according to their satisfaction. The other type of treatment that people usually follow very much, and nowadays they ask for it, is laser hair removal. So that's the paradoxical situation. They have more on the body than on the head. Therefore, they just of late, men do need to remove the unwanted hair, either on the trunk or the facial beard shaping, which is very famous and which grooms the men to look much more confident and much more handsome. Therefore, these two treatments are very popular, and they opt for it. These are scheduled every month, once in 2 weeks to once in 3 weeks, and men do follow regularly these regimes. Apart from this, hair transplantation is a long process, and when required, we counsel them and we suggest them to go ahead. The most popular treatments among men nowadays who want to maintain their skin are the Botox treatments, because they know that Botox, apart from just doing a wrinkle correction, can also be used as a meso Botox, which will lighten their facial structure and give them a glow. So this is a very famous treatment in men, and they do accept the little bit of pain that comes with the mesobotox. Other than that, they also require regular facials, of which non-invasive kind of treatments are very famous, which are called aquafacials or hydrofacials, where very less amount of chemicals are used, and most of them are washed away from the skin, and therefore they feel refreshed and fresh. The most important thing that men come for treatments is the pigmentation. As I told you, in a younger ages also, men's skin is much darker than the women's skin. I don't say universal, but maybe 70-30% ratio. Why is this? Well, basically, in South India, it is because of the skin tanning and lack of skincare in the early ages, or it could be due to seborrheic melanosis. As I told you, men have a more amount of sebaceous glands on the skin, therefore more amount of sebum production. There's blockage and there is increase in the thickness of the skin, which reflects as a leathery skin, darker skin. This is called seborrheic melanosis. Most of the time, men are also tanned because of the increased work in the sunlight, and in the later ages, it can result in this called a lichen type of pigmentations. Lichenosis or lichen planus may be there associated with the dark skin. So these have to be taken care with the gentle exfoliations, repeated exfoliations with either the laser or the chemical peels, whichever is comfortable and suitable for the men. After, these procedures are well accepted, and there is a high probability that they will come back. They will come back for these treatments when we are conservative and when we are less probing uh, into their other behavioral changes. Of late, men also opt for the fillers and Botox in other regions. Botox for underarm sweating, which is very profuse and sometimes very not acceptable in social settings, and also because of their work, they may have to adopt for these things for underarm sweating. Botox is also given for the jawline correction, especially the masseter muscle is very thick in men, and sometimes it becomes more thicker, maybe due to the activity or the masculine or the androgen influence. Therefore, they want to soften them, the masculine effect on the face, and also give a jawline a proper shape. At this time, Botox is a very valuable tool, and it can be injected into the masseter muscles. The only careful observation that we have to make is not to soften too much and not to feminize too much of the skin. That is not acceptable for men. So we have to take care of these considerations in men. And also when filling the cheeks, the malar bone is already a high eminence malar bone. Therefore, the cheek filling has to be done carefully, if at all necessary. Botox in the glabella region, men have a wider glabella, and in between the brows there is a wider angle. Therefore, we have to use more amount of sometimes more amount of units to get the effect on the glabellar muscle. Also, the Botox, which is used in women also to lift the brow, is also used in men, but in a different way. We do an universal lift instead of doing only the tail end lift or an arched eyebrows. These are technical differences which are used in men, and the dose and the other things are also more in men. Therefore, the treatments which are same as in women are applicable to men, but in a different settings. Men are also confident about their looks, their body count, their body shape, and also again there are morphological differences in the way men put on the fat. uh, Men put on fat more on the trunk and upper part of the body, like they are more apple shaped, they are called, and women put on more on the lower part of the body, and that's why they are called pear shaped. These two things are are very troublesome, especially during the puberty age or in the adolescent period. Men put on more fat, or the gland increases as the mammary glands increase, and they can cause a condition called gynecomastia, and this is very cumbersome, and they are very conscious of this, but they are very shy to come and explain a doctor. Therefore, any confident aide who is there with the men have to caution about it, and they have to see a doctor as soon as possible. The reduction with surgery, which is a stitch, it's like a one nick which will save them in time, so that they can avoid the embarrassment, they can become much more confident, and the chest wall looks flat and better again. Not only this, tummy can be lost with either the liposuction or they can opt for other non-surgical methods also like hypo or ultrasound or reduction or the radio frequency reduction. Apart from this, a regular diet and exercise are very important to achieve good goals in contouring. When the contouring is done, prior to the contouring, when they have lost a lot of weight, either due to a bariatric surgery or due to the weight loss procedures or due to conservative management of weight, they can have loose tissues either in the chest, in the abdomen, or over the face. Therefore, these can be handled with non surgical treatments. And one such non surgical treatment is a facelift, non surgical facelift, which involves HIFU, that is high intensity and focused ultrasound, which can be used in a single sitting or in a spaced sittings to get achieve the good results. Other than this, we see men come walking in at the time of puberty or at the time of marriage for facial beautifications. These also have become very necessary because of the social pressure and also they need to feel good and confident in their skin. So makeup is a different as ball game totally because you make them confident for a few hours, but a skincare and a cosmetic treatment can make them confident from inside. So for the profile is completely changed, the confidence levels are different, and they see visible results over a period of time. Therefore, when we talk about the bridegroom treatments, groom treatments for men, I would generally focus on treatments that stay on your skin for a long time, unlike makeup or color contouring. So, therefore, I would always suggest them to go in for a PRP for face, which will give a good growth factors, which will infuse good growth factors, which is much more natural because it is taken from their own blood and it is transfused back through a small meso injections. So one of the popular treatments in the PRP is the under eye darkness. Most of them are stressed. They are working overnight, and during the marriage time, they have very little time to address this under eye dark circles. Therefore, I would suggest them to have a PRP and a lightening peel for the eyes. Within a few weeks, they will see very good results, and a few number of visits to a doctor are necessary, unlike the facials or other treatments. Therefore, this is a good tool to improve the skin tone. At the same time, observe the musculature, and if it has to be addressed, it can be addressed with the fillers or contouring. Other than that, men also have other changes in the skin, like dark skin patches, that is called melanosis. Unlike it is the hormone, may be hormone dependent, may not be hormone dependent, but it is more an environmental condition, either due to the harsh sunlight or due to the genetic conditions. So these melanosis take longer time to control. A conservative treatment in the form of demelanizing agents have to be started at home 2 to 3 weeks prior to any clinical treatment that we have to undertake at home. There are good peels, that is chemical peels, which are applied on the skin to control the and to decrease the melanosis on the skin. Also, there is a chemical exfoliation which can be done, mechanical exfoliations in the form of dermabrasions, so that a lighter skin is achieved. Apart from this, hydrofacials do a great job in cleansing and removing the dirt from the skin, decreasing the pore size. As you know, the pore size of men is also bigger. Again, it is because of the increased number of sebaceous glands, and the size of the sebaceous gland is comparatively bigger than the men. Therefore, these cleansing techniques also help to improve the skin texture. When the skin texture is improved, the radiance of the skin is improved, and therefore there is a difference in the shade of the skin that again reflects in a better confidence for the men. These are some of the minimum type of treatments that are required for men, but there are many other things that can be considered. Apart from that, major concerns like warts and freckles also should be removed when they think about a clear skin. So again, I would stress that a good lifestyle, good skin care, and a balanced diet is more important. And then the next step would be to consider a few treatments which are flexible, which they can accommodate in their routine, and then look forward for other treatments which will be otherwise they were more intimidating if you start a suddenly new treatment on their skin. Therefore, this is how I get the confidence of the men, and most men are agree to certain treatments because it has become very common, and now they understand that it's a part of their life. So I would suggest that these all the factors that I have said could be followed, and they can reach out to me whenever they require a treatment. So I'm signing off for today, and we would see you shortly. Thank you.